C.S. Lewis, when writing about friendship, said that the essence of friendship is hearing the words, me too. In other words, understanding that someone gets you. When we're in a particularly difficult situation, right, we long to hear those words because we fundamentally long to be understood amidst our current difficulty, our current pain, and our current confusion. Right? We don't like to be alone. And I'm not referring to just physically alone, but we don't like to be alone as if no one can relate. When someone says the words me too, it actually means it. It's as if the bars that had previously held us captive vanish, and the chains which held our hearts captive are loosed. When we hear the words me too, we are drawn to that person. We want to approach them. We want to be in their presence because that is where freedom comes, right? From being understood. In our passage today, that's what's happening. Jesus is saying the words, I get you, me too, directly to you and I. So let's see the ramifications of this. And as we do, our prison bars will vanish and our chains will be loosed. So Hebrews 4, verses 14 through 16. Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has ascended into heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who is tempted in every way just as we were, yet he did not sin. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may find mercy and find grace to help in our time of need. Now, a high priest is one who intercedes. So Jesus stands in the actual presence of the Father as our intercessor. And therefore, we are told to hold firmly to the faith we profess. Is there something about your faith that currently feels slippery rather than firm? Be assured that even when the right words seem to escape you to pray, that Jesus stands in the Father's presence praying on your behalf. And guess what? He gets you. He says, me too. Verse 15 tells us that Jesus is able to empathize with our weaknesses because he was tempted in every way that we were. Think about it. Our temptations are limited because at some point we eventually give in. Imagine there's a delicious cookie in front of you that you've explicitly been told not to eat. And the longer you resist that temptation without giving in, the more intense it becomes both in scope and duration. Since Jesus never gave in to sin, the temptations he endured were even more intense. So in other words, when tempted, Jesus says, I get it. Imagine you finally discover that much sought after friend who can finally say the words, me too, and mean it. How would that change you? How would it change you to know that someone truly gets you at the most fundamental level? Well, if nothing else, you would do everything you possibly could to be in that friend's presence. They get you, and therefore there's freedom in that. Well, verse 16 tells us that in light of Jesus' empathizing with our weaknesses, that you and I are able to approach God's throne with confidence, not passively, not wondering if he cares, not wondering if my current burden is important enough to come to him, but confidently to receive mercy and grace that we need right in the nick of time. So I want to leave you with a couple questions. Is there an area you currently feel misunderstood in that you feel like no one gets you? Jesus says to you, I get you, me too. Therefore, I encourage you, come and receive grace in your time of need.